Hello everybody. Today I'm going to start working on the panel, and my dad works on the canopy, mainly the rear skirt. The rear skirt of the canopy consists of two strips of aluminum that you should rivet together, and it should connect to the side skirts. And the goal is that it fits really nice onto the fuselage, which means that if you close the canopy, the rear skirt closely fits to the fuselage. This is a real problem in that it is not very easy to do. Some people don't even try it, and there are a lot of RV builders that actually prefer to create a rear skirt and even side skirts from scratch, building from fiberglass. That of course solves the problem of a fitting canopy. I didn't like it. First of all, I'm not a big fan of fiberglass anyway. I like aluminum much better. Also, it's how it was intended, so although I did make some modifications on the RV, I think this one really should be aluminum. So I tried to make it as intended, but it turned out that when we saw, and I should say that we use Sika flex instead of bolting it together. So the canopy bubble and the skirts are all glued, let's say, to the canopy. Anyway, the result was that it didn't really fit nice. I mean, you could close the canopy, but then especially at the bottom side, so where the rear skirts match the side skirts, there were big holes, big spaces between the fuselage and the canopy, even going all the way to ½ inch. So that's way too much. It's probably not a problem, let's say, from a mechanical point of view, and I've actually seen videos of RVs that have very big holes or spaces between the fuselage and the canopy, but I didn't like it. So I was looking for a solution, and well, you can see the solution here. So what I did is I drilled holes about 2 inch apart, about 3 inch from the aft side of the canopy, and just with a Dremel I saw, let's say, the whole rear skirt into parts. The holes are there to prevent it from cracking or cracking further, so that's kind of a stop. And this way I had very small aluminum strips, as it were. So what I did is I closed the canopy, put some tape between the fuselage and the canopy, and then started to bend the strips so that they closely match the fuselage. And when that was done, I put fiberglass beneath it together with resin, and started to match it up, and then close the canopy. So it's kind of actually a kind of a hybrid, right? It is aluminum on the outside, but actually on the inside it's fiberglass and resin that hold together all the strips of aluminum. And you can see that here. My dad is finishing all the excess of resin, but you can see all the strips, all the holes, you could say, in the aluminum. Although there is fiberglass behind it, and it's actually very strong, you can see the light coming through because the fiberglass is kind of transparent. I will finish it off later with aluminum putty, so that would, and then really sand it off soft, so then it's very nice. But for now I just work with fiberglass. Actually it fits really nice, maybe a little bit too good, because it almost kind of clamps on the fuselage, so maybe I have to sand it a little bit more, because it is a really tight fit now. I'm really glad that I chose this solution. There are other solutions like bending it or just making a whole different rear skirt altogether. I must say it didn't feel very comfortable to start drilling and sawing in your rear skirt, but actually it turned out very nice. So I'm really glad that we did it this way. Meanwhile, in the back, I'm actually starting on preparing the panel. I already made 2 holes where the USB chargers will be. Those are easy because you can make them with a unibit, because they're not that big. And now I'm working on the holes for the EFIS and AMS. I bought EFIS and AMS off MGL, and those holes are bigger. I don't really have a nice system. I know there are special hole making tools for standard avionics. I don't have those, unfortunately, so I have to use a drill. It works okay. Just be very careful and, let's say, undersize the holes, and then every time just start fitting. So this is the AFIS system, the extreme AFIS system of MGL. And yeah, just looking into it and not making the holes too big, so I fit them. So once it's done, it's really nice fit, and doesn't it should be really straight up. My whole panel is kind of, the goal is to make it very symmetric, because I like symmetric ways. So the AMS, which has the same, let's say, footprint and the same look, should be on the other side. It's a little bit different because the body is not in the middle, but that's okay. And in the middle there will be some room for radios and transponders, my prop governor settings, and between the AMS and the AFIS and the middle there are 2 big spaces that will be filled with tablets. One tablet is for, let's say, location, so GPS, and the other will be a kind of a backup system, or maybe the main system, that depends, of the AFIS and AMS, which I'm planning to build myself. So building all the software and hardware together for my own AFIS and AMS. That's the bottom hole there for the prop controller. So I have an Airmaster prop, specially built for the UL Power 520 IS-A engine. This is a constant speed prop, and there is a controller. The governor is a electrical powered governor, and there is a prop controller that controls that, and it's a really nice prop controller because it has all kind of nifty features like a feather mode, and of course there is you can manually make the pitch finer or coarser. Sometimes you mostly work with imperial, let's say, measurements, but here the avionics, at least the bolts, are all metric, so that's a nice twist. Above the prop governor or the controller there will be the radio and the transponder, and then the panel is complete. Okay, continuing building my pie in the sky.